Hi everyone. How are you doing today? For today's quick guide we have the third EV and the most recent addition to Pokemon Unite's roster. Today we're going to take a closer look at Glaceon's moves, items, and emblems. Glaceon is a special attacker who is really strong at dealing damage to single targets, and most of his moves allows you to move around, staying mobile throughout the fight. This is also the first special attacker to rely 100% on his special attack stat, even his basic attack scale based on that stat, unlike the rest of the cast. Also, Glaceon's is the first of them to have a natural critical hit rate. It starts at 10% at level 5. Although Glaceon is a great Pokemon, it still has some flaws. Like most attackers, Glaceon is very frail. If you're inside the range of your opponent's attacks, you definitely be in trouble. His ability to keep maneuvering around the map while attacking help to mitigate that weakness. Another one is his weak early game compared to other Pokemons. His early moves are far from the best to secure farm and won't help you to evolve into Glaceon as early as possible. This does not mean that you can't do well in lane, it's just that it's harder and you will have a tough time against good opponents. The safest way to play Glaceon in my opinion is to go in the central area. With all of that in mind, let's take a look at the practice area to see what Glaceon actually does. As always, let's start with the basic attacks. Like I said before, they scale with his special attack and can critically hit starting at level 5. The boosted attack deals more damage. When you evolve, your boosted attack will give you 2 of these ice crystals. You can have up to 8 of them at the same time. They last 4 seconds and this timer will refresh every time you get new crystals. They are consumed by some of his moves. Glaceon has 2 passive abilities, one before and one after evolving. The first one will negate a hindrance one and will make you invincible for a short time. This ability can be triggered once every 70 seconds. After evolving, this ability also makes you invisible while active. When you start the match, you have the choice to pick either Swift or Tail Whip. You will get the other option at level 2. Swift creates 4 stars. Every time you use your basic attacks, you will shoot one of them, dealing damage. Your boosted attack shoots 2 stars at once. The other move you get as EV is Tail Whip, which deals some damage, reduces the enemy's defense and special defense by 30% during 2 seconds and slows their movement speed by 2% for 1.5 seconds. It also makes your next auto attack become boosted. Swift deals a good amount of damage, but not in a single burst. Tail Whip deals all of its damage in a single blow, but isn't exactly the strongest move in the game. So it's not easy to secure farm as EV. At level 4 you evolve and start to gain health back from your moves, equal to 12.5% of the damage dealt by them. Then you have to choose your next move. Icicle Spear or Icy Wind. Icicle Spear launches all of your ice crystals towards an enemy. After hitting, they shatter, dealing damage to one enemy and to a small area around it. This move will create 2 crystals if you have none when using this move. These crystals actually travel in a straight line between you and your target, so if someone gets in the way, they will get hit instead. After using move, the cooldown of Ice Shard or Freeze Dry is reduced. We will talk about those later. Another cool thing about this attack is that every time you hit the same enemy, this move will deal 5% more damage, so having a lot of crystals helps you even more if your damage output. The upgraded makes every crystal deal additional damage equal to 2% of your target's remaining HP. This bonus is capped at 300 when used against wild Pokemons. Right now, this is the best source of damage for Glaceon with Icicle Spear, plus helping against some Pokemon that you would normally have some trouble to take down quickly. But be aware that if your enemy becomes untargetable while you are using this move, if you lost vision because they went into a bush, this move will be cancelled or your target will change to a nearby enemy. The other option right here is Icy Wind. It makes you jump in the designated direction and makes your next basic attack launch all of your crystals at that same enemy, dealing damage. you will regain the same amount of crystals that were launched. So it's easier to keep your crystals up at all times with this move. If you hit a target with 2 or more ice crystals, you will also reduce its movement speed by 8% per crystal, stacking up to 6 times. And like Icicle Spear, if you don't have any crystals, this move will create 2 of them. The upgrade's Icy Wind gives each crystal a bonus damage equal to 1.5% of the enemy's remaining HP, with the same cap for wild Pokemons. This move is really good at moving around and chasing targets, and unlike Icicle Spear, you will always hit the enemy you want but at the cost of some damage. Both moves receive their upgrades at level 10. As you can see, it's almost impossible to hit someone if they're inside a bush. At level 6, you get to pick between Ice Shard and Freeze Dry. Ice Shard gives you a movement speed boost for short time, then increases your attack speed by 25% for 2 seconds and makes your basic attack stronger for 2.5 seconds. Every time you hit an enemy with this new basic attack, you will decrease their movement speed by 30% for 1 second and will also receive 2 crystals. If you use this move while launching crystals with Icicle Spear, you will get 2 more crystals. The same thing with Icy Wind. You can see how long you will have access to these better basic attacks by that bar under your health. Ice Shard Plus will increase your attack speed by 50% instead. The other option is Freeze Dry. It increases your special attack for 50% for 3 seconds and launches a projectile that explodes when it reaches its maximum distance for an enemy. You get 2 ice crystals for each enemy hit by the explosion. This move also leaves a small area that slows the enemies by 20% for 3 seconds. If they stay in that ice for 2.5 seconds, they will be frozen. With the upgrade, this move grants you 1 more ice crystal per enemy hit. Both moves receive their upgrades at level 12. At level 8, you get your Unite move. It creates a large area, dealing some damage. While inside this area, your movement speed will be increased, while enemies in the same area will be slowed. You will also get 2 ice crystals every second. The most popular moveset is Icicle Spear and Ice Shards. The other options don't look great right now, but feel free to try out other combinations. Now that we covered the moves, let's take a look at some item choices. For battle items, I would recommend running either Eject Button or X Speed to help you get in and out from any situation. For the held items, we have a lot of possible choices. And again, here's the tier list. Since Glaceon auto attacks a lot, you can run Muscle Band to hit your enemies for a percentage of their HP. Choice Specs will increase the damage of your moves once every 8 seconds. This bonus is based only on your special attack stat. Focus Band is a great item to help you stay alive. Scope Lens will help to increase the damage of your critical hits. Since Glaceon has a good critical hit chance, this item may help you. Buddy Barrier and Energy Amplifier will help with your Unite move. Buddy Barrier gives you a shield, making it easier to survive, getting the most out of your Unite move. While Energy Amplifier will increase your damage and do something more that I'll talk about later. Shell Bell is not a great item, but since the last update, it became quite useful in a way that I'll also talk later. The other 2 glasses will increase the damage. But Glaceon's moves have a really low special attack scaling, so they will not benefit you that much. The other options are just not useful for this Pokemon. Now, for the new addition to the game. The Emblems. They're a new way to improve and customize your Pokemon stats. In other words, they can provide you with more critical hit chance and cooldown reduction. And these are both my recommendations for this Pokemon. This is what I've been using. I'm trying to get the bonuses while keeping my critical hit rate. You can get up to 8% of cooldown reduction. This paired with Shell Bell, Energy Amplifier, or both will give you a noticeable difference on your cooldowns, making you able to use Icicle Spear almost the whole time if have 8 crystals. Also, you can just run 10 emblems that increase your crit instead. If you still don't have these emblems, you'll be fine with maxing out your special attack. And that's all for this quick guide. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new about Glaceon. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more guides like this, please consider subscribing. You can also tell me which Pokemon you want to see next. Thank you for watching. And until next time.